So, you want to learn how to do this to your ride? The first thing you're going to need to do is preheat your oven to 210 or 215 degrees Fahrenheit. You're going to need to stick the headlight housing in there and bake it to release the glue to open it up and get inside. Then you want to bake it for 10 minutes.
A few moments later.
Now on this part you're going to have to be quick because you've got to pull it apart before the glue dries. I ended up having to put it in the oven a couple times because I was not quick enough because I was a little bit shy with using a screwdriver. You're going to take a flathead screwdriver around that seam of the headlight and you're going to pry it under there, and it's going to feel wrong and it's going to feel messed up and like you're going to break something, but you just got to trust the process. Use the smallest screwdriver you can and be gentle with it, but be quick, and I promise it'll come apart. And I mean quick because the glue cools off and then you got to put it in the oven again. I'm leaving this in here so you understand that it's a process, you know. You got to work when the glue's still warm and then not break anything. So I want you to see that. This is sped up 5x. And now that it's apart, we can put whatever we want to in there. Now the next thing I'm going to do is paint the chrome reflectors inside this housing black. I'm just using a regular satin black Krylon spray paint. I did 2 coats of the black and then I'm going to shoot it with a coat of clear, satin clear. Now to install the demon eyes inside the HID housing. The first thing we're going to do is remove these 4 screws to take the lens off the body of the headlight. Now this is the actual demon eye. The demon eye is going to go inside there with the HID, or regular bulb, so they're going to go in there together. These demon eyes cannot be used for driving, they are just for show. But that's how it goes in. So these demon eyes came with pre-drilled holes, but they don't match up with the headlight that I bought. Maybe if I had bought a headlight from the same company, they would have lined up or whatever. But I'm not worried about it. I'm just going to modify it. We are going to void warranties here. I'm going to take some nippers and just cut those tabs off. I'm gonna make sure I trim off enough of the black plastic from the demon eye so it doesn't stick up above the gray part of the headlight, because I don't want it to cast any weird shadows. So your HID is gonna, all your lights are gonna shine through there, and if you have something sticking up, it might make a weird thing. So see, now I've got it cleaned up so nothing's gonna show. I'm gonna mount the demon eyes with some double-sided 3M automotive tape. It's for holding on emblems, so I think it should do a good job. Make sure you cut it down to size so it doesn't stick out above the gray part of your headlight either. Now we're gonna stick the demon eyes onto the little headlight part thingy, whatever this is called. Now reverse the process and put the headlight back together. Now let's plug them in and double check they work. Before you get started, which I guess I should have mentioned this in the beginning, it's always good to make sure the lights work right out of the box before you ever install them into anything. So that way you know that if there's something wrong with them, you didn't do it, it came from the box. And you can do that real easy by using a 9-volt battery if you have one laying around. Another good thing to do when you're checking the lights is to scan the QR code and make sure the app to run all the special functions for the lights is compatible with your phone. Probably should read that in the product description and make sure it's compatible with your phone as well. Next, we're going to install the light we just built. Those particular HIDs come with 2 different adapters. I forget which H number it is, but it comes with the one that fits on our bike, and that's the adapter I'm going to use. The first thing that goes on is this little rubber part. It goes right there. But before we start putting that together, I'm getting ahead of myself. It came with these little chrome housings that go over the headlight, I guess. I keep using the word housing. I don't think it means what I think it means. Anyway, I sanded the chrome off. I roughed it up so paint would stick to it, and I'm going to spray paint those black. I had not planned on using these originally. If you noticed in the video, at some point the other part of the headlight had turned black instead of chrome. I thought I was going to leave these off and just leave that other stuff showing, so I sprayed it black, but then that looked tacky, so I decided I'm going to use these, so now I'm spraying them black. That's all an aesthetic choice, but this is what I used. You can do whatever you want in your headlights. So we have got to put these on before we do anything else. And they're just 4 little screws. The next part that goes in is this 3-pronged washer thingy. It's directional, it only goes in one way, so figure it out. You're gonna push that in there real hard. I'm pushing up with my knee on the light and pushing down on that washer. You wanna get that as tight as you can in there. There's a nut that goes on top of it, this aluminum nut, and that's what's gonna hold your light stable in there. So you wanna get it tight to make sure your light isn't jiggling and vibrating and bouncing around. I'm just gonna go ahead and tuck these wires behind the old reflectors. Once you put the face plate on and then the cover on top of that, you're not gonna see these wires. You wanna make sure and wrap them with tape though. I don't know if I'm gonna use that cut in this video or not, but I did end up pulling the light back out and wrapping that red and black wire with black tape, so just to be double sure you couldn't see it anywhere, but I don't know if I'm gonna include that clip in this video or not. Editing Lisa hasn't gotten there yet. Here's what it looks like with the faceplate cover thing, whatever it's called, on it. See, all those wires are totally hidden. You can't even see the red one, but you know, well, maybe you can. I'm pointing at it for some reason. That's probably why I took it out and covered it. Yeah. Alright, you're gonna repeat the process for the other headlight. And this is what it's going to look like with both of the modified demonized HIDs inside there. Looking pretty good. The next thing we're going to do is add the angel eyes. Play around with them and figure out where you want to position them. You could kind of make it look like all kinds of different faces depending on which way you position them, because I chose to get the horseshoe kind instead of the full halo circle kind, because I wanted to make it look like, well, eyeballs really, and I wanted it to look kind of mean, so I turned them at an angle that I think goes well with the shape of the headlight. Once you figure out where you want your lights, tape off the inside of that faceplate, which is where we're going to mount them to. That's a little trick. You see me put the tape on my leg real quick. That'll make the tape so it's easier to come off when you're ready to take it off. So I'm putting this tape for 2 reasons. Reason number 1 is to where I can put my markings for where I'm gonna drill my holes. Because right now, get ready y'all, we're gonna drill into the housing. Housing! And number 2, it's gonna protect the plastic in case you screw up and your drill slips. And you don't wanna put a scratch on the plastic. Once you have them where you want them, grab a magic marker or something and mark where you're gonna drill your holes. I'm marking where the ends are, so like the angle that I have them, and then I'm trying to put marks between the little lights because I'm gonna run a wire around to secure this, and I don't want the wire to go on top of the light. I want it to go in between the lights. So bear that in mind. And also bear in mind these are kind of directional, so if the lights are tilted up at an angle and not flat, you won't be able to see them from certain angles if that is a thing that might bother you. To drill these holes, I'll be using a 1/16 drill. Alright, before I install the halos, I'm gonna wrap them with electric tape on the end. They had some colorful wires showing too, just like about 1 inch of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and tape that up and make sure that's not seen anywhere. Now it's time to set the angel eye. I'm using some, I don't know what gauge, small enough to fit in a 1/16 hole. Beading wire, like beading for jewelry. What I have in my hand right now is some garden wire, but it was green and I was like, nah. So I ended up using this beading wire. This is just stuff I had in my craft box. I'm sure there's something out there that might be better for this, but I wanted it to be secure with wire because it's not going to be laying flat because of all the contours inside of this faceplate. So I'm using this wire so that way I can secure it how I want. You want to make sure it's a wire that you can twist on the back and it'll hold its shape, because that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to run a loop through the 2 holes I drilled on either side and then tie it in the back. I guess I should have mentioned that earlier. Man, I'm bad at this. This is my first how-to video, y'all. So yeah, you're drilling 2 holes on either side so you can run a loop of wire through to tie these in with a wire, because this is not something they won't like that double-sided tape isn't going to work in this application, because this thing is not going to be laying flat in some places because our headlight faceplate housing isn't flat. Repeat this process on both sides for the angel eyes. Before you completely put this thing back together, you're going to want to thoroughly clean everything inside, because once you seal it, whatever's in there is in there. So you want to make sure there are no fingerprints on the inside of the lenses, on the glass of the HID, none of that. You don't want any fingerprints in there. When you're all done, put the pieces back in the oven to heat it up. Once the glue's hot, stick it back together and you're done. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. I'll be putting together a video on how to wire this into the motorcycle later. It'll probably be a couple weeks. So check back for that video. Thanks for watching.